So let's begin our session with a wonderful quote. Words are slangly the most powerful uh, available to humanity. We can choose to use this force consistently. These words with the words of encouragement, of destructively, using words of despair, word from energy and power, with the ability to help, to heal, to hinder, to hurt, to harm, to humiliate, and to humble. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Aditya Srivastav, being your host for today's international webinar on the topic Power of Words, extend my warm greetings and a very good afternoon to all of you present here. The power of words lies in their ability to influence thoughts, emotions, actions. They can inspire, motivate, and heal, or they can hurt, discourage, and destroy. Words shape perception and relationship, and their impact can be lasting and profound, whether written or spoken. The way we use words can significantly affect both ourselves and others. Talking about SEMS Welfare Foundation, we are Section 8 non for profit company registered under the Companies Act 2013 with various recognitions from Niti Aayog, MSME, MPCOM, DDU, GKY, and more. Recognized as a startup by DIPP, MCI, and awarded Best Service Award for national contribution. SAMS Group, with an active network of 5,000 plus professions, published book, and an international journal, organized education and health campus for underprivileged children, promote digital and financial literacy, and contributed to society. Our initiative, DG Saksham, has developed content for 300 plus courses of IT, BFSI, retail, and entrepreneurship, impacting deserving age group. We have executed a skill project for 600 inmates, signed out moves for training, collaborated with various organizations, and conducted international conferences. Family, other SAMS initiative empowers women through workshops and newsletter, conducting awareness program in digital literacy, marketing, and career development across different industries. We have impacted over 1,000 women across state and recently celebrated a milestone of 100 women associated with the program. On the behalf of whole SEMS family, I welcome you all for today's international webinar on power of words and add to our guest of honor. Today's speaker is Abitasha Sethi Chu. It is a great honor to have you with us, ma'am. We are grateful for your presence here with us today. Now, let me introduce for the speaker. She is an influencer and motivational speaker. She helps who are bounded by their negative thoughts process and unable to live life with their unmanaged thought. Life is really simple and beautiful, but throughout the life they remain tangled up with the queries and issues. See, untangle them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Abitasha Setiachuk, a motivational speaker and influencer. As we all know that the canvas, it's all about the canvas. Sometimes it looks beautiful and sometimes it becomes awful. Likewise, our life is also like a canvas. We color it with something to which we call colors. Yes. And today our topic is power of words. Can we have the next slide, please? So let's get started. First thing that I'd like to say to all my audience today is lift view is filling. Yes, friends, lift view is filling. Actually, you all might be wondering, what did I say just right now? Actually, I jumbled up my words, and when you will rearrange my words, then you will get it as life is beautiful. Yes, friends, we all have done these kind of jumbled words in our school time, in our childhood times, but we never realize the actual real meaning of these jumbled words in our real life because we never realize the importance of those words as the misarrangement of tones of music make it sound like a noise. Similarly, misarrangement of the words makes our statement sound like argument or meaningless. Please, next slide, please. Next one. So, these words are the most powerful source to change someone's emotions in fractions of second because these words are capable enough to change someone's emotions in fractions of a second. Now, these words have huge, tremendous energy within them. And let's talk about these words today. How this whole thing works. How do these all words work? Can we have next slide, please? Next slide, please. Next one. Now, one question for all of you. Do you all have tongue? Do you all have tongue? You all can answer in this meeting. Do you all have tongue?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All of us have tongue. We all have tongue. Even I have tongue. We all have this 50 grams organ that is 8 to 10 centimeters long. But we never realize what we speak with this. We never realize using this tongue what we are saying, how those words are landing up in someone's mind. So, this is very important to use this tongue wisely. Can we have the next slide, please? Actually, every scene starts with a communication. Whatever we do, everything starts with the communication, and our emotional expressions also depends upon the ending of the communication. Whatever our emotional status is, that depends upon the communication. Next slide, please. Now, there is a question from all of you that do you all speak with same manner with all people? We
No,
all
ma'am.
speak to different variety of people. Is the manner with which we talk to people is same for every person?
No, ma'am. It will be
Never.
different.
It's never the same. It will be different with every person. Now, why is it so? Can anybody tell me why is it so that the person we are speaking and the speaker is same, then why is the manner of speaking changes to different kind of people when we talk to them?
It depends on the situation and the conservation what we are doing.
Mm, I will feel it because if it's your little baby, whether it is in morning, whether it is in night, you will always be sweet to that kid. No matter how the situation is, no matter how that child is doing some mischief, whatever it is, you will always be nice to your kid. Am I right? So we
Yes,
can't
ma'am.
say that it depends upon the situation. If you are in your office, you can never be rude to your boss. No matter your boss is upset with you or your boss is promoting you, in both the situations, you can never be rude to your boss. Anybody else? Let me tell you. Actually, to whom we are talking to, it all depends upon the thought process we are having with for that person. If we are talking to a person, if we think nicely for that person, if we think good for that person, we will always be nice to him. But if we have some negative thoughts for a person, we can never be sweet with them, right? So, with few people, we are sweet. With few people, we are rude. With few people, we even become anxious. So that completely depends upon the thought process we are having for that person. So the way we think for that person will be exactly reflect the way we speak to that person. Can we have the next slide, please? Next one. Next one. Now, actually, there are three fundamentals of communication. Everything we start with a communication. Now, these are the three fundamentals of communication. First is think, second, speak, and the third one is listen. When we think something, accordingly, we speak. And when we speak, the other person is listening to us. When that person will listen to us, will think something that what that person has to give response to us. So when that person will listen, that will think, and then that person will respond by speaking, to which we will listen. So this is the loop that keeps on going. And thinking, speaking, and listening, this loop keeps on going that makes the communication successful. Now, what happens? Can we have the next slide, please? The first most fundamental is thinking. Next slide. What we think is exactly what we speak, means the quality of our words is directly proportional to the quality of thoughts. Now, why is it so? The way we think for a person, no matter that is a reality or that is an assumption, our brain accepts it, and accordingly, our words are used. So the way we think will always be there, and our words will be according to what we are thinking about that person. So if I am having some negative thoughts for a person, I can never be nicely comprehending with that person. Next slide, please. Now, there are three types of thoughts: positive thoughts, neutral thoughts, and negative thoughts. Now, when we talk about the neutral thoughts, let's talk about it first. So, we never bother about it. When we are neutral, when we are having some neutral thoughts about a person, then in that case, we don't bother about what that person is saying, what that person is doing, because neither we are in favor of that person nor we are against that person. So we hardly bother about what that person is doing. Next is positive thoughts. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, when we have the positive thoughts, we always use positive words with the person. And when we use positive words and we keep positive thoughts in our mind, these thoughts are very much helpful for our brain. These positive thoughts keep our brain calm and composed. These positive thoughts improves the understanding ability of our brain, because our brain remains calm and composed. So it is very much stable to understand the situation what is going on. Therefore, it makes us capable to handle any situation calmly. It keeps our heart rate normal, that helps us to recover from any kind of anxiety. Now, when we are positive, when we are calm and composed, then we can handle the situations positively in some positive ways. Therefore, at that time, our heart rate remains relaxed, due to which we can easily recover from any kind of anxiety. People who remain positive most of the times do not feel very much aggression in their routine. And positive thoughts also strengthens our willpower. Now, why is it so? When we have positive thoughts in our mind, that positive thought creates a positive aura around us, due to which somehow we become confident for anything what we do. Therefore, our willpower also becomes stronger. Next slide, please. Now, let's talk about the negative thoughts. Now, when we have the negative thoughts, we always keep on using negative words. We always keep on blaming on other people. We always keep on seeking for the excuses if we don't succeed. So, these kind of negative thoughts create the feeling of stress, hopelessness, fear, and anxiety. These negative thoughts make us restless, because we always keep on thinking negatively about some things, so that make us overreact on some situations, and as a result of which we sometimes spoil our relationships. Negative thoughts also create some stress hormones in our body, due to which we always keep feeling pain in our body, because we have negative thoughts, we use negative words, we keep on blaming. So our blood circulation is also affected due to that. What happens? Some stress hormones, some stress chemicals are released in our body, due to which we feel pain in our body. And with that, there are some more effects to which our body become prone to some diseases. Can we have the next slide, please? So, due to these negative thoughts, when our body becomes prone to some diseases, here are some examples. Like blood glucose level can increase. Our body is very much prone to diabetes risks. Our concentration decreases. Now, how does it happen? Actually, in our brain, we all have heard about the prefrontal cortex. So, what happens when we have negative thoughts? The prefrontal cortex of our brain, which keeps focusing on the things, in memorizing things, in feeling emotionally stable, in having some stable feelings, that prefrontal cortex becomes distracted from the thing we need to focus. Therefore, our concentration decreases. It also deteriorates our immune system. And due to these continuous negative thoughts, what happens? We become restless. Sometimes even we become sleepless. Our appetite is also affected. Inflammation in body also increases, and wound healing speed in our body also decreases. Can we
Yes,
have the next slide, please? So, negative thoughts. If we are having some negative thoughts, or if we are using some negative words for a person, then those words and thoughts not only affect us, but our brain, our body, and the person who is listening to those words. It affects all of these things. Next slide, please. Now, there is an exercise for all of you. I would really appreciate if you all would close your eyes for a while. Everybody, please close your eyes. Think about the last argument you had with someone. Think about the dialogues that person said to you. Think about how that person disappointed you. Revive that moment that you had with that person. Thank you so much. Now, can you please tell me how is your emotional status right now? How are you feeling right now? Anybody? See, when we think about these kind of events where we had some arguments with some person, we always feel bit aggressive. We will always feel some disappointed after thinking such kind of events. But when we think about some good memories, now if we close our eyes and think about some good things, some good conversations, and if I think about the person I love the most, if I think about the conversation I had with the person I love the most, those moments, those memories that I shared with that person will always make me smile. So, this happens with everyone. Whatever we think, if we are thinking about some negative events, then we will feel disappointed. We will be feeling bit disheartened, aggressive about positive things, when the positive events. Then at the end, what will you feel? You will be having bit smile on your face. That shows that these emotional things, these emotional status depends upon the events, right? These emotional expressions depends upon the events, the memories. That is right. That depends upon thinking, what we are thinking. That is right. But what we think is our choice. What we think is completely our choice. What I want to think, whether I want to think positive, whether I want to think negative, that is completely my choice. Can I have the next slide, please? So, emotions don't depend upon the situation, but our thoughts, and what we think is our choice. Next one. Now, the next fundamental of communication is speaking. Next slide, please. Now, these words, what we use, what we speak, are very much powerful. And these words has been proven to be very much powerful force in this planet. What happens? Science has already proven this thing that these words have tremendous power and energy that we can change anybody's expressions by using any word we want to. So we should always use them carefully and wisely. Can we have the next slide, please? So our words are very much powerful, very much energetic, that can do a magic in someone's emotion. Like in fractions of second, I can use my word to humiliate someone. I can use my word to provoke someone. I can use my word to encourage someone. I can use my words to discourage someone. My words have that much energy that can immediately change the thought process of the person who is listening to. So we should always choose the words very wisely that we are using. Can we have the next slide? Now, science has already proven that these words are very much powerful, that these words can even change the world. And all the religions always talk about the importance, the power, the energy, and the vibrations of these words. Actually, in earlier Vedic times, what happened for every event, there were some fixed mantras that people used to chant. On every occasion, people used to chant the mantras, no matter they understood the meaning of those mantras, what they are speaking or not, but they used to chant those mantras. Now, after chanting those mantras, what happened? They created some neuro-linguistic changes in their brain and body. That was very much positive. Therefore, now quantum physics and biology has also proven that each cell, I repeat, each cell of our body reacts to what word we are listening. I repeat my line, every cell, each cell of our body reacts to each word we hear, and our brain reacts to each word we are hearing. Just a second. So, we should always be careful to what we are speaking. We should always be careful to what we are thinking. And we should always be careful to what we are listening. Can we have the next slide, please? Has anybody heard about the Solomon Islands? Is there anybody who has heard about the Solomon Islands? Actually, these islands are in Pacific. Can we have the next slide, please? These islands are in Pacific. There, what happens when people want to cut a tree, they never start cutting that tree at the very same time. What they do, they gather in crowd around that tree and start uttering negative words, start uttering bad words, start uttering harsh words. Due to which, what happens after few days, that tree falls down, and those people call it curse magic. That they curse the tree, therefore that therefore that tree fell down. But actually, that is not the magic. Now we can actually very well understand this concept that when they speak negative words, when they speak harsh words, when they speak bad words, then cells of the tree starts absorbing the vibrations of the words they are speaking. And when these negative feelings starts getting piled up, these negative vibrations start destroying the cells of the tree internally, as a result of which at the end that tree falls down. So this is the magic of the negative words. When we use the negative words, how severely they can affect someone. This is the point. And as those tree fell down, we can very well understand how our cell responds to the words we listen and we think. Our positive words. Now, when we talk about the positive words, these positive words always strengthen the willpower of a person because they create a positive vibration to that person. They create cells of the body that will encourage, that will make help patient to respond, to act in different kind of situations. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, what happened? There was a Japanese researcher whose name was Masaru Emoto. That person, what he did, he exposed water to different kinds of sounds and vibrations and musics. He exposed water to some music that was of love and gratitude. He exposed water, different water, to sound that was bit negative. And exposing the water to different kinds of sounds and vibrations, he studied the structure of the crystal of water using high configuration cameras and vibration measuring instruments. So after exposing different kinds of water to different kinds of sounds, what he found that the water which was exposed to good sound, which was exposed to the sound of good vibrations, the structure of the crystals of that water were found to be very beautiful. And the water which was exposed to the negative vibrations, to the sound which was negative, the crystals of that water were very much smashed and broken. That means if water is exposed to some sounds, the water always starts reacting to that water. And this is what happens when we go to some holy place, when we go to some temples or gurudwaras, then from that place we take some water and we drink it and we call it as divine, because that water is always exposed to the prayers and positive vibrations, due to which the crystals of that water become very much beautiful. Means that water is full of positive energy, and we drink it, it starts affecting our body as well. And can we have the next slides, please? When we talk about the water, then how can we ignore this thing that our body is also made of 70% of water? Can we have the structures of the crystals of water here? We have. So when we expose water with some positive vibes, if it is gratitude, if it is wisdom, compassion, something positive, then the shape of the crystal was found to be very beautiful. But when the water was exposed to something evil, something which was bad, which was negative, then the structure of the crystal were very much destructive and very much smashed, you can say. So here you can have the look on the different structure of the crystals of the water when they were exposed to different kinds of sounds. And next slides, please. Can we think about how our body is composed of water? Our body is composed of 70% water, and plants and trees are also composed of 50 to 90% of water. So, how can we be spared from these vibrations and sounds? How can we be spared from the effects of these vibrations? Therefore, continuously brooding over the negative thoughts damage the crucial structure of our brain that governs memory, feelings, and emotions. Because the prefrontal cortex of our brain always get distracted from the thing we need to focus, from the memory we need to recall, from the feelings we need to be stable at, from the emotions we need to be calm at. So these kind of emotions, memory, feelings all gets disturbed because the prefrontal cortex that governs all those things get distracted due to the negative thoughts, and due to which there are some harmful effects on our sleep and our appetite as well. Can we have the next slide, please? So, negative thoughts are just like a contagious virus because when we have a negative thought, we will speak negative. And when we will speak negative, someone other will listen to those negative things. So if I had something negative thought in my mind, that will come through my tongue and that will go to someone's brain. So this virus, even we can say that this act as a virus that keep on spreading from person to person. So even a sneeze of these negative thoughts. Can we have the next slide, please? So even the sneeze of these negativity or even the sneeze of these negative thoughts can affect everybody around us and even the person who is speaking, that person as well. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, how many of you feel that your words are different at home than that of your workplace? Some people, even everybody, we can say, we are very polite at our workplace, but we are very rude or very not much polite at our home. Now, why is it so? First of all, how many of you agree that your behavior, your words are different at your home from that of your workplace? How many of you agree that yes, my words at home are different from that of my words at workplace? Almost all of us feel that, and all of almost all of us can agree upon this. Now, why does it
Yes.
happen? When we come from our workplace, we are exerted, we are exhausted. So at that time, we don't like even on the single little thing, we get frustrated, we get irritated, and due to which we start reacting on our spouse sometimes, on our children sometimes, or on our parents sometimes. We just we want to get rid of our frustration and exertion, and we don't even like someone calling us at home. We just need loneliness at that time to make ourselves calm. But actually, the way you are speaking, the way you are comprehending with your spouse is the way you are creating atmosphere with your spouse. The way you talk to your children, the way you speak to your children is setting up the word that you speak to your children is setting up the an influential example in front of those young hearts. When you speak something, whether it is positive, whether it is negative, no matter, but the way you speak creates the complete atmosphere at home. So your words at your home can create your home, can turn your home into hell as well as heaven. Now it's all up to you whether you want your exertion to be released in form of your words or you want to make the atmosphere at your home the way you want to be. Next slide, please. So words said with right way can manifest unity, strong, a strong positive aura, strengthen life and leads to success. Now this was next slide, please. Now this was the thing when we talk with other people, when we talk to other people, what do they think about what how do we talk to them? But how do we talk to ourselves? How do we do self talk? Do we all have time for self talk? Yes, we all have time for self talk. Unknowingly, we always keep on talking to ourselves. What was my mistake? I did so much of things for that person. I did so much of work for that person. I did so much of favor for that person. What was my fault? Why did this all happen to me? So these kind of negative, these kind of uh, talks we have with ourselves. So actually, how a self talk should be, that is the main thing that affects us. Can we have the next slide, please? When we have the positive self talk, next slide, please. Now, what happens? In some of the self talks, what happens? We think that my emotions are due to the situations and the circumstances that are around me. So, my emotions cannot change unless my situations or circumstances will change. But that is wrong. Actually, we just talked about that the emotional status of a person is never due to the situation or the circumstances. Our emotional status is always because of what we are thinking in our mind. And what we are thinking in our mind is completely our choice. Now, till now, we all knew that in every advertisement we saw that children have brain that gets 90% development till the age of 5, and after the age of 5 most of the development is very much less. Most of the development is done till the age of 5, and after that there is very less development in brain. But that is wrong. Actually, neuroscience has already proven this thing that the brain cells that we have in our brain always keep disconnecting from other cells and always keep connecting with new cells. Even every second, these cells are forming new connections. Every second, these cells are disconnected from the previous cell one. So our brain is like a computer, but unfortunately, no school taught us how to program this computer. Now, when we get some gadget from market, when we get some laptop, some iPad or some phone, what we do after unboxing that gadget, we just open the settings and we start setting it up according to our requirement. But as we know that this brain is the supercomputer, that is the superpower in this universe, but we never think of programming it because we were never taught how to program it. Can we have the next slide? So, how this brain can be programmed by positive self talk? Now, when we utter positive words, when we keep digging into our mind, and when we pour some positive words, then what happens? Our brain is rewired, our brain is reprogrammed. That means when we are pouring some positive thoughts, then, as I told you, that the cells always keep disconnecting from the previous one and always keep connecting to the new cells. So this is called rewiring of the brain. That is also called neuroplasticity. So when we say positive words to our brain, the cells connect with the new cells positively. That changes our thought process, that completely transforms our thought process, because when the cells are rewired positively, our thought process also completely transforms into positivity. Our perception completely changes. Our perception to visualize the things, our perception to visualize the situations completely changes. Therefore, we have very much positive energy to act positively on the situations. So that energizes our actions in positive way. That completely shows how to act in some situations, and at the end, when we are having positive thinking, when we are speaking something positive and we are acting positively, that can always lead to the success. So positive self talk always lead to the increase in rate of success. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, every second our brain is getting rewired. Don't give negative input. As now we are talking about the brain, these things. So if we are talking something positive right now, then every second, even right now, we are rewiring our brain. So always program your brain. Always be selfish for your computer. Always be selfish and filtering for your computer. Always filter the things you are giving input to your brain, to your computer, because you are the only master of your computer. Don't let your superpower be the slave of something negative. Never give negative input for it. If some people are talking something negative, always better to ignore it, because somehow if you are even listening to it, those negative things, those negative words are somehow getting poured in into your mind. So every second your brain is getting rewired. So avoid negative thoughts, avoid negative inputs, and always try to focus on positive things. Can we have the next slide, please? We live life of the level what we think. Now, why is it said so that we will always live the life of the level what we think? Because what we think will be the way we speak, and it will be the same how we will act on the situations. And always the success is directly proportional to positive actions and positive thoughts. So, if we want to have something huge in our life, so we need to get what it takes, what kind of actions it takes, what kind of perception it takes. So, if we want to live a good life, we really want to have good thoughts and good actions that are required for that life we want to be. So, we should always think and speak and act the way we want us to be in future. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, the third fundamental of communication is listening. Now, when we listen, or people always say, be a good listener. People always be a good listener. Listen to every single word the person is saying. Now, what actually listening means? Listening means absorbing every single word that person want to say. absorb every single word that person is conveying to you. Absorb every single expression that person is making. Absorb every single body language that person is making, every movement that person is making. But I'm really sorry to say, we all are not that much good listener, because when someone is talking to us, we don't even listen to that person completely. Even in before the half of the conversation, we start thinking, how will I react to that person? When will I get my chance to speak? How will I respond to this conversation? And sometimes when we meet some strangers, even in 2 to 3 minutes, we attain a perception for that person. Even after 2 to 3 minutes conversation, we declare that person is very much dominating. That person is very much proudy. That person is very positive. That person is so sweet. So what happens when someone asks us, why did you say so? How come you can say, even after the 2 to 3 minutes meeting, how can you say that person is nice or that person is dominating or rude? Then, when you articulate your words, then you will just say the thing that your mind attained from that conversation, from that half conversation. And at the end, when you get to know that actually this thing is wrong, that the perception that you developed from that person is wrong, then it is called misunderstood. Now, how we are misunderstood? When we are not even listening to that person, we are not even getting the intentions, we are not even getting the all words that person want to say. Just before the half of the conversation, we even stop him, and when we are so much excited now, we don't even wait for that person to complete the conversation. We just keep on saying our words because we think that speaking more means taking the whole conversation under our control. If we are speaking more, that means we are taking the whole conversation under our control, and that is good. But frankly, that is wrong. Because if you are not listening to that person, you are not even getting the intention that person is having. You are not even getting the words that person want to say. You are not even understanding the feelings that person is having. And that is why, that is the only reason why you misunderstand people, because we don't give others chance to complete their things. We just make our own perception, keep on waiting for our chance to speak. Can we have the next slide, please? So listening is very important, and there are 24,000 fibers connected to each of our ear. I repeat, there are 24,000 fibers connected to each of our ears, which hear 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz frequency of sound. So we have this brain, which is superpower, which is supercomputer. We can even reach to the moon in microseconds. We can use this tongue, this tongue, how magic this tongue can create, how it is uttering the words, and how these words are having huge energy within them, how we are affecting someone's brain, how we are affecting someone's whole situation, how our words are sometimes motivating a person to that extent that person just got a kick for his life, how we are using our ears, that is completely our choice. This superpower, this tongue, these words, how we can think and how we can speak and how we are listening to things, this is completely our choice. These all are the blessings of God we have got. But we never see how we are using it. We never filter the usage of these things. We always take them very casually, and unfortunately we misuse them. We never use them productively. Yes, we do use them productively, but many of the times we waste the energy, because when we have positive thoughts, we all have positive aura around us. But when we have negative thoughts now, so what happens, our blood circulation level increases, so there is lot of energy consumed by our body at that time. The energy that was to be consumed for maintaining the immune system of our body, the energy which was to be consumed to focus and memorizing something good, that energy got wasted in maintaining the blood circulation just because we are having the negative thoughts within us. So these things, these words are having tremendous power and energy within them. These words, if we are thinking of something, we even have phobia of something. When we have phobia of something, what is phobia? If we are having fear of something, then that is the phobia. A person is swimming in that person, and the second person is having phobia of water. Then what is the phobia? That is the fear of drowning into the water. Now the person never drowns. Now the person never gets died because of drowning into the water. A person never dies because he drowned. No, that person actually drowned because he didn't know how to swim into that water. So this is your perspective. This is your thought process. If you think that I have fear of water, then you will always have phobia of water. But when you will think it like I can learn to swim in water, I can overpower my fear. Obviously, when you know swimming, you will never have fear of drowning into the water. So you can overpower everything only if you have a positive thought process. When you think positive, when you make yourself understand that yes, I can do this thing. In every morning, when you say, I love myself, I am very good at this thing, I can accept this challenge, I can overpower this thing, I can do this thing. So that makes yourself confident enough to take actions on it. And obviously, we all know if we do something, there is nothing we can't do in this universe. Everything we can do. Can we have the next slide, please? And in Bible, it speaks there's life and death and power in this tongue. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you constantly talk about because you are inviting that energy and vibration in your life. Thank you so much. Please, this is the ending. How this is with this, I will keep my words on rest that these words are having magic in our life. Please use it positively because it will change your life and the people who live around you, those two. Always, these are the words. Please use them with wisdom. Thank you so much.
Vote of thanks. Wow, what a wonderful knowledge given by you, ma'am. I hope our audience learned many new things from this session. I would like to highlight some of the points like responsibilities in communication, misarrangement of words, fundamental of communication like thinking, speaking, and listening. Ma'am, there are few questions which our audience wants to be answered. So,
Yes,
with your permission, shall we proceed with question?
sure.
In your opinion, what are the key elements that make certain words or phrase particularly powerful?
Sorry, can you please repeat your question?
In your opinion, what are the key elements that make certain word or phrase particularly powerful?
See, a word has a lot of energy, and that energy can be utilized at the maximum level when you use that word at correct timing and correct place. If a word is said in wrong way, in wrong place, and on wrong timings, that word will never make the change you want to make. So, if you want to make your words more meaningful, more influential, always speak your words on right timing, right place, and in right manner. Then only then your words will be understood.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering this question. Our next question is, what as advice would you give into someone looking to improve their persuasive speaking or writing skill?
Persuasive speaking or writing skill, for that I'll say ki if you want to improve your conversation, if you want to improve your way of speaking on your words, on the vibrations you want to attain in your words, then you should always exercise some things. Like you can wear a rubber band on your finger, and when you feel that you just get off from the track of positivity, you can just stretch the rubber band from your finger so that you can realize, yes, I got distracted from my track where I wanted to be, where I had to be. And when it comes on the writing skill, yes, you can improve your writing skills by reading the novels, and good authors are there. You can always read the books because the way you will obtain something is the way you will write something.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering this question. Our next question is, how do we balance the need of emotional appeal in our words with the necessity for faculty or and integrity, occurrence and integrity.
See, sometimes what happens, our emotions are very much powerful. Many of the times, what happens, our emotions overpower our words. When our emotions are very much heavy, our words also become according to our emotions. But while speaking, we should be always be calculative for what we are speaking. When we will be calculative, we will always be making balance between the emotions and the words we are using, no matter what we are thinking, what kind of emotions we are having. But with those emotions, if I am saying something, I will always calculate my words before saying, because the way I am saying, is it correct? The way I am saying, is it so that I am not hurting someone? So if you have that calculative attitude, then only you can make the balance between your emotions and your words, and that can work in every stream you are having.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering this question. Our next question is, how do we handle situations where our word might be understood or misinterpreted?
Can you please repeat your question?
How do we handle situations where our words might be misunderstood or misinterpreted?
Yes, sometimes it happens that we are misunderstood, because the thing I told you, then when the person is not listening to you completely, when that person is not getting what you are trying to say, that person attains a perspective that that person want to say this only. So it is okay if someone is misunderstanding. Now, what happens if we know that someone is misunderstanding me? Then we become very much anxious on this, that why did you thought about this? I didn't mean that. I didn't intend about that. But you need to be very calm. It's okay if someone is misunderstanding you. It's okay if someone is getting you wrong. That person is also a human being and he has right to be mistaken. If that person is misunderstanding you, you can be very calm and repeat your things in that words only. The person is saying something in response of the thing that he misunderstood, then you can say that yes, your thing is right, but actually I didn't mean that, I mean to say. Then you can change your words to say the same thing, because sometimes when something is not understood, you can change the way of making them understand. There is a question in chat box: how can words be used constructively? Can and so see, the thing is key words can be used constructively only when we are using right words on right time and at right place. If these words are used, yes, our words are right. The thing what I want to say is right, but the time, but the place where I am saying this thing is wrong, then my right words will also become wrong, because they will again be misunderstood only. So if you want to use your word constructively, if you want your words to be taken correctly, use those words on right place and at right time.
Ghanshyam.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering this question. Samriddhi, you are on mute. Your voice is not.
I'm Ghanshyam. Sir has raised his hand.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening,
I,
sir.
I want to clarify that when we are using the mantras,
Right.
which are written in a Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit, so the words are in Sanskrit. But if we really convert it into Hindi or other understood language, then their effect is not there. Why? The mantra's
So
effect is
actually,
only in
yes, please.
what language it is written as Sanskrit. The effect is in Sanskrit only, not in Hindi. Why it is?
So it is so because those mantras, those words that are written in Sanskrit, na, so those words have vibrations. Like Om is there. Om
Okay.
word is there. When you chant Om, that word itself has a vibration. If you are saying that I will say Om in some other language, then the frequency and the vibration will change of that word. No matter the meaning of that word is same, but when you will utter that word, when you will recite that word, na, so frequency and vibration will change. Therefore, those words that are written in Sanskrit that have their own huge energy within them.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Again, thank you for all for attending today's webinar. If you have any additional question, you can contact us by mail or telephone. We are happy to provide additional support to you. Please follow us on our social media and subscribe our YouTube channel for new learning.